Hello viewers, thanks for clicking to my new channel Error Code. In this tutorial, I'm going to teach computer science students and computer novices how to build web apps and websites. If you find this tutorial helpful and more interesting, please click the like button or hit the subscribe button to be updated with new videos. Hello students, my job here is simple. My job here is to teach students the coding aspect of web development. Any question as to what website or web apps are, please make Google your friend and get all this information from Google. Now, I'm going to ask you to get two things. All you need is a web browser and a text editor. A text editor is where we are going to run our code, and run them in our appropriate browsers. I am using Google. So you have to go to Google Chrome and then you go search for Sublime. Sublime text editor. Alright, so this you got it. Hit the enter button, then you're gonna have the first option, Sublime text editor. This is their official web page. So you click on the official web page and you're gonna have download for Windows. So you hit download for Windows and you have your text editor downloaded. I already have the setup, so I'm gonna go through all this again. So I move straight to my computer and go find my Sublime text editor, of which I have it here. Right click, open file location, and there you have, boom, Sublime text editor. To install it, you right click and you go to run as administrator and hit the run as administrator button. Click yes and continue with the setup. Now when you're done with the setup, this is what you're gonna have: a pop-up screen, an empty window. So all you're gonna have is all these features with an empty blank space. Now if we should continue, there is one thing I want you to know. In web development, we have 4 components that makes a website. A website is made up of 4 components. We have an HTML, a CSS, a JavaScript, and a PHP. Now, an HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. A CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. JavaScript is the name, and PHP also is PHP. Now, in these 4 components, I'm going to take them one after the other, but I'm not going to throw more light on them. The HTML is the structure of the web page. Now, if you write some text in the HTML and we run them in Google, you're going to have plain text. Now, the CSS is what adds more color and more beauty to the HTML. So if you should write some CSS attached to the HTML, when it is being displayed in the web browser, it makes it look nice. Now when we add JavaScript and we run JavaScript in addition to the HTML and CSS, it gives the website more controls. And we should add PHP to the JavaScript, the HTML and CSS. The PHP gives the web page functionalities. Now I'm going to use the web page as a human body. Now the HTML stands for a skeleton. Now in every human body there is a skeleton. The HTML is depicting a human skeleton. The CSS also is the human flesh that covers the skeleton. Now when you have a flesh on a skeleton, you makes the human body look beautiful. That is what the CSS does. Now the JavaScript also give controls to the web page. Now when it comes to the human body, the JavaScript stands for your eyesight and your hearing, like how you hear. Now with the PHP, it gives functionalities to the web page, like, let's say, how you eat, how you talk, and how you hold, or how you think. Let's say how you think. Now, when you relate it in web development, the PHP has a functionality like redirecting page to a different site, and also storing user information in a database, and also giving user access to download files. Now, if it is all understood, now we're going to move straight to creating each of these components one after the other. So we have the HTML. Now you're going to create a file named newbie.html. Now in this creation of this file, we are going to have a file extension attached to the file we are creating. So now if you are creating an HTML, which I'll give it a name as newbie, the file extension should be HTML appropriately. So now when you go to all files, you see there are all kinds of file extension: get config, ASP, action scripts, and you do have HTML here. So you could choose to use HTML or you use all files. So far as what is happening? So far as you have the file extension as .html, the text editor will see it as an HTML file. So let me save my file in a folder, let's say dump, and you have my file. Already have the file here, so let me change the name of the file. Let's make it trying.html. Okay, so we have our file saved. So this is where we are going to build our structure in our web page. Now we have to create the designing part of our web page. So we need to create a different file and name that file as trying.css. Now the file extension for the cascading style should also be c.css, whilst the HTML was .html. Now file extension will tell the browser what kind of file it is, as you have it in mp3s, mp4, .pdf. They are all file extensions. So we're gonna name this trying.css, so the computer or the text editor can recognize it as such. Now we're going to create another file called the JavaScript. That is what is going to give controls to the website. So we're gonna name this file. We're gonna create a new file first, then we're gonna name it as trying.js. Alright, so we have our file extension for JavaScript as .js. Then we create another file, which is the PHP file. That is what is going to give functionalities to the web page. That is redirecting the site to a different page and storing user information in a database and giving user access to store or download information. So we have a new file and we save it as trying.php. Now it don't really matter if you use the same name, but what matters is the file extension must not be the same. So you could see here we have trying, but they are all not the same because we have different file extensions for each of them. So with trying.html, it is also a different file extension, and trying.css is also a different file extension, so as the rest. So you could see it is all having a name as trying, but the file extension is different. Now, if you understand that, then we need to move on to the next tutorial. Thank you for sticking with me. In the next tutorial, we'll be building the actual test that we can run in our browser. Thank you.